in 1974, my father was president of the Potters Society in Tasmania, of the Northwest Branch, and they had a Japanese master come down to do some workshops. And my father was very reluctant to go because he was a prisoner of war to the Japanese on the Burma Railway. So he decided to go very blatantly, and he went quite late. And the demonstration was well underway. And my father stood on a chair, everyone was crowded around. So that's the only way he could see. And my father was so impressed with the Japanese master's skill that he invited him back to our place for a meal. And they talked for a couple of hours in the courtyard after the meal, but none of our family knew what they were speaking about because they were speaking in Japanese. And we had no idea our father could speak Japanese. So they became close friends and they'd write to each other. And it was in November 1974, the Japanese master wrote to my father and asked him if I'd like to train with him in Sydney. And that was the start of my pottery career in 1975. That's when I began. When my father went to see the Japanese master do the demonstration, the Japanese master's name was Shigeo Ishiga, and he demonstrated at that workshop how to do the chattering. And it was after that my father came back from the workshop, and it was a few weeks later my father gave it a try, and my father showed me how to do it. And that's when I began to chatter and do the chattering. And later on I learnt how to do it properly off my Japanese master who I trained under. That's the tool I use. It's really springy. I'm going to place it on the surface and see it starts to vibrate.
Amazing.
The best bowl I've ever made. But
Cool.
it shows the technique, yeah. And quite often when the clay's softer, it'll give a completely different look than if it's harder. You can hear also the change in the sound
as you
the
were
clay
going.
got harder.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's called chattering, because it makes that These are fired in the electric kiln, and I've made a special kiln to fire these in. It's what Australians normally use for a barbecue, and that gets up to about 600 degrees, which is hot enough to do that burn. It's taken out of the kiln, and things like feathers and hair are burning the surface. So the clay's quite porous, so the carbon is trapped into the surface of the clay. It's quite a process because normally to make one of these is about 10 steps, but with this technique, you're looking over probably 24, 25 steps. So there's a lot of handling. So once a burn is done and it's cool, I brush any excess carbon off and I put a layer of special wax over the top. It's called canubra wax. And I wipe that off, and that takes all the carbon that's going to come off, that comes off. And then I put another coating wax on, and the next day I hand polish it. The shine on it is the wax. I started experimenting with feathers and different things. So I do the feather burn, and this here is hair a friend has given me. She gave me she got a ponytail cut off, so she gave me the ponytail. So yeah, I've still got lots of her hair left, so I'm using her hair with a lot of it. I've used the dog hair, but traditionally I used horse hair. these are the feathers, these here, and the squiggly little lines, that's the human hair. You can see the hair here, and the brown colour is the ferric fluoride. Yeah, yeah, and this is silver, silver luster. So that's another firing. So this one's had 4 firings, where these ones have had 3 firings.